Friend droids and friend bots, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. In the Northern Hemisphere, as of when I'm filming this video, we are slowly but surely creeping up onto spring. And you know what that means. It's gonna start warming up outside, the birds are gonna come back, the trees are going to turn green, flowers will bloom, and we are gonna start shifting what we're wearing into spring mode. Fresher, greener, dare I say, less depressing? No, depression stays. Nice. No, I'm just playing. It's okay. And with this in mind, I asked you guys, what are the best spring fragrances for men? What are you looking forward to wearing this coming spring? What's the good stuff? And you provided your answers that we're gonna go over together today. So 10 of the best spring fragrances ever for men. And I just want to reiterate here, these are your choices, okay? Yours. So if you don't like this list, you think these fragrances aren't perfect for spring, you got nobody to blame but yourself, okay? So you think about that, okay? Although I do agree with pretty much everything here. It's pretty good stuff. I'll have all these linked in the description below, and you can check on the community tab of the YouTube channel for even more fragrances that you guys provided other than these 10. Let's get it started with one from Big Bear. He says, my mind goes straight to green Irish tweed for the springtime. It's a classic and never gets old to my nose. Yeah, this is the good stuff. This is a great choice. This is one of my favorite spring fragrances of all time. I will co-sign this 10 times out of 10. And this one did get mentioned a good amount. A lot of people brought this one up, and for good reason. As I said, I fully believe this is one of the best springtime fragrances of all time. Unfortunately, it is pretty expensive, and it is much more expensive nowadays than it was when I began collecting. And it's not that it was cheap back then, it's just at discounters you could get Creed fragrances for a little bit of a better deal than you can currently. Something something Creed, something something Greed. Yeah, we've heard that before, right? That's a classic joke. Never heard it before.
What a joke.
Similar to Davidoff's Cool Water, but much higher quality, this stuff is the epitome of a fresh, classy, gentlemanly green scent. And honestly, it darn well better be all those things, or else its name should not be green Irish tweed. Bunch of lemon verbena in there gives you a very lively opening, very sparkling, and even though this came out in the mid 80s, it still works today. Like 40 years old almost, but still smelling good. You also have violet leaf in there, ambergris, sandalwood, iris, as some of the other notes. The stuff is fantastic. So green Irish tweed, yes. Good job, yes. Truth be told, I'd be disappointed in you guys if this didn't make the list. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Before we go any further, here are some codes that you can use to save yourself some money should you shop online at any of these different websites. The newest code is from the perfumebox.com. Gents will get you 10% off that website. So add that to everything else. You got GS11 for Fragflex and all the other good codes. There you go. BB13131313, who says, Tom Ford Beau de Jour, barbershop scents work really well in the spring, in my opinion. So obviously I've got the private blend Beau de Jour here. Nowadays you can get this for less than what I paid for it as part of the signature line. Nice. So this little guy right here has lavender, oak moss, rosemary, and patchouli as some of the notes in the fragrance. It has more than a little bit of a similarity to another Davidoff fragrance, that one called Zeno. So green Irish tweed smelling like Cool Water, Davidoff, and this one also smelling like a Davidoff. But we're going high end here. We got the more expensive ones. That being said, legitimately, if you want something that smells similar to these for pennies on the dollar, get the Davidoffs. But if you have more money, then don't get the Davidoffs. Or if you do have more money, but you like to be more frugal, do get the Davidoffs. Woo! When you don't smell this for a while and you come back and smell it again, it's like, oh, dang! That's good. That's real friggin' good. Yes, it is barbershoppy. Yes, that also means it's got like a classic feel to it. Very masculine. That oak moss patchouli combo gives it an earthiness, but it doesn't come across smelling dirty or funky. And then you have even some mint in there and some herbaceous notes as well. That really helps push that in the opening, helps, grab your attention right away. Beau de Jour is fantastic stuff. And yes, in springtime, this would work quite well. Now we got one from Adolfo Guz, who says, white Lacoste will always be a classic spring/summer scent for me. Absolutely perfect for the warmer weather and floral fresh enough to give that spring vibe. This is a little bit of a classic at this point in a way. At least to me it is. Lacoste White, Lacoste Blanc, Lacoste Blanche? Yeah, depending on where you look, you'll see it referenced a number of different ways, but it's this one, which now has a boatload of flankers that came out after it. At one point in time, this was just part of their collection. You also had yellow, you had green, you had black, you had red, but now this is the one that gets all the focus, at least for the most part. So as Adolfo points out, it does have a floral freshness to it. It has a ylang-ylang and tuberose actually, but don't worry, not too heavy. The florals don't make it feminine leaning or anything like that. Off the top, very, very fresh. Grapefruit in there immediately will grab your attention. You also have rosemary, a little suede, some woods as it dries down. It is what Lacoste does best. It's sporty, it's great for a casual use, it's good for the office, extremely versatile, and at discounters, for the price point that you can pick this up for, it's a great buy. Or at least it used to be, yeah, it used to. It's not that it's super expensive nowadays, it's about 50 bucks for a 100 mil at discounters. Maybe you can find it for a little bit less, but there was a time that you could get it for more like 25. Regardless, still works very well and still smells great. Before we hop to the next one here, I want to really quickly plug my extra channel, Extra Gents Scents. If you want more fragrance content, check that channel out, subscribe to it. I do daily uploads on there also. Typically reviews, also lists, a bunch of random stuff that I don't do on this channel is over there. So check out Extra Gents Scents as well. All right, next one we got is from RS Pictures, who says, you or someone like you from a tad libre d'orange, very green and fresh mint with citrus and white musk. It's an absolute treat when I'm able to wear this fragrance. So I'm very much looking forward to springtime this year. Yeah, this stuff rules. I love this one. This may be my absolute favorite from the house. If it's not my absolute favorite, it's really close. The mint here is the star of the show. When you spray this on, it is a big blast of fresh mint, just like he says. The quality is very high because this is a niche brand that's not super expensive, even at full retail. And at discounters, you can pick it up for a really good price, again, for a niche fragrance. So what kind of price are we talking about? Under $100 for a 100 ml size bottle. You can find this at discounters often for under 90. So yeah, it's a great deal. But you do have to like mint. I know I brought that up before, but it is imperative that you understand that with this one, because when you first spray it on, it almost smells like you took a mint leaf and just muddled it up in your hand and went in for a whiff. Now to me, amazing. I, again, love, love, love this fragrance, but if that doesn't sound like your thing, probably should stay away from it, even though it's not that expensive or niche. Oof, yeah. For spring, something like that is perfect for me because I want it to be green, I want it to be fresh, I want it to be something that gets your attention, something that wakes your senses up, and that does all of that. Noel Rodriguez 6625 says, Varvatos Artisan Blue. What a scent. My personal favorite. It's nothing but watery greens all day with that one. It should be called Artisan Green. For a designer, the quality of it is fantastic, better than most other designers, and it's cheap. Yes, Varvatos is cheap at discounters right now. Who knows in the future? I've talked about this a little bit before, but Varvatos fragrances have a tendency, once they're discontinued and stock runs dry, to shoot up in price on the secondary market. So it wouldn't surprise me if, like, down the road, I'm not saying right now or anything like that, but down the road, if this one or another Varvatos was discontinued and was hard to find, that the price would shoot up. That wouldn't surprise me. But right now, they're pretty cheap. From discounters, you can find most Varvatos fragrances under 30 bucks, which frankly is fantastic for the quality, like he points out. So this one right here has some similarities to Mandarino di Amalfi from Tom Ford. So you could think of it in a way as being an alternative or potential replacement or substitute for that fragrance at a much, much more affordable price point. So this one has bergamot and bitter orange off the top, citrus combination with lavender in there as well. As it dries down, you get geranium, you get orange blossom, pine actually is one of the notes in the base as well. Then you have some interesting green notes in there as well, like basil in the top and then palmarosa in the mid, which goes back to what he said, calling it artisan green. It has a nice freshness to it, some soapiness as well, so extremely clean, something that is very easy to pull off in spring and summer, and a perfect choice. So this one is another one I'm on board with, and this one is, you know, a little bit of a lesser known choice for springtime nowadays because not too many people are gonna be wearing this one. Mark H, 7389 says Roja Elysium works beautifully in spring. And since he did not specify, I'm assuming he means this one, the Parfum Cologne. This is gonna be the easiest one to find, the cheapest one to find in the Elysium line for men, and it is pretty much what you would expect. It's a high-end blue fragrance. You know how it goes with Roja Parfum. There are a bunch of notes in here, okay? Just a whole mess load of notes. You've got citrus in there, you have juniper, you've got vetiver, black currant, ambergris, leather, you have vanilla as well. And when I say citrus, I mean a lot of citrus. Grapefruit, lemon, bergamot, lime, and also apple, just for good measure. It is extremely versatile, very easy to wear in any situation, daytime or night. It is going to be pricey compared to pretty much every other blue fragrance on the market, but it at least smells of good quality. When you smell it, it's very elegant, very well blended, nicely put together, smells great. A lot of people might think of that as more of a summertime scent or like an all year scent, but during spring it would work really well. Voice of Scents 5212 says Dunhill Icon ought to be it. Clean, soapy, with the grape soda-like refreshing opening, and underrated or less spoken of. So this one is a fragrance that is not directly comparable to Terre d'Hermes, but is the type of scent where if you like Terre d'Hermes, you'll probably like this one as well. It's got a nice sweetness to it when you first spray it on. Neroli in there, bergamot, black pepper, and vetiver going to be some of the main notes in the scent that you pick up. Then there are some other supporting notes in there, petitgrain, cardamom, for example, and a little bit of oak moss and lavender as well. It's a really good office fragrance. It's the type of scent that smells very well put together, elegant to an extent, but also another one that's good for casual use. And I do think it's very nice for spring. And this is one that has been pretty affordable for a while at discounters. Maybe it was a little bit cheaper before, but honestly, at this point with most fragrances, they were a little bit cheaper before. Something about inflation, something. But it still is a pretty good fragrance for the price point. It's not that expensive and has nice performance to boot. Wild Mildew 1, that's a good name, says Coach Green is the best spring summer frag for 2024 in my opinion. As a late 2023 release, it is super fresh, and the kiwi top note makes you smell like you're in a manly farmer's market. Huge recommendation. I think that is the first time that I've ever heard of smelling like kiwi equals manly farmer's market. I would think Manly's farmer market smells like sweat and hay and wood, like a lumberjack, but no, kiwi. That's the secret. Next time you're eating a kiwi or you see a kiwi in a grocery store, pick that bad boy up, smell it, and you're like, dang, is that a manly farmer's market? Or is that just me? It's just you. So this one, I was not massively a fan of when it first released. At full retail, I don't think it's worth the buy personally. Again, just my own personal taste, obviously. Nowadays, it's a much better buy. The price has gone down, and at discounters, not too shabby. You can pick this up for a pretty good price. It's got good usability, good versatility spring and summertime. And if that kiwi note really works for you in the opening, you're gonna love this stuff because it does smell pretty unique, kind of doing its own thing. You can maybe point to a couple fragrances out there and say there's some slight similarities between this and those other scents, but not close enough to where you would ever smell this and, like, for example, Jour Sauvage and say, oh, it smells like Sauvage. Nah, like maybe there's like some bits and pieces, but really not the same. So yes, Coach Green has definitely grown on me over time because I feel like at that lower price point, that's a very palatable purchase, but at full retail MSRP, I think save that money. But for sure, 100%, I keep harping on it, but at that price point you can get it for now, this stuff will be a banger for a lot of people. Really, 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 really good for spring and summer. That's basically exactly when this was made for. Why'd I just pat its bottom? I don't know. Luis Rivera YV9BI says, Montblanc Legend Spirit, a versatile, inexpensive fragrance. It's sweet, fresh, citrusy, perfect for the spring and summer days. Also great for the gym. The only drawback is performance, but I just do a couple of extra sprays to compensate. We all need to compensate from time to time, right? Legend Spirit is a very similar fragrance to Invictus Aqua. And yes, this is indeed quite affordable. Actually, pretty much all the Legend fragrances are affordable, and a lot of them are worth checking out for sure. So this one has bergamot, pink pepper, some aquatic notes, musk, cashmere as some of the notes to the scent. Very nice sweetness and freshness. And yes, as he correctly points out, performance is maybe not amazing, but when it's cheap, who cares? Spray it on more. Legend Spirit, another very good choice. And last but not least, I Show Nothing 9984, who says YSL Y Eau de Parfum and Club de Nuit Intense Man. For these two, for me personally, I would lean more toward Y Eau de Parfum. I think it has great performance. That sweetness that it has with the apple off the top, very appealing. It's got sage in there, amberwood as it dries down. Just a great versatile scent that, you know, is a massive compliment puller, one of the most popular scents in the entire world. And Club de Nuit Intense Man, of course, this guy, the Aventus clone, the king of Aventus clones for a lot of people. Right up close in the opening, a little bit harsh with the lemon, but as it dries down in the air, it is a big attention grabber. And for the price point, you really can't go wrong. Now, I wanted to bring up really quickly some other fragrances that people mentioned. Tons of discontinued ones. And this is something that I think plagues spring fragrances more than anything. The best spring fragrances always seem to get discontinued. Gucci Pour Homme 2, YSL L'Homme Ultime, Gentleman Cologne from Givenchy, a bunch of other ones, a whole bunch of discontinued scents were your guys' choices for the best spring fragrance. And yeah, I kind of agree that a lot of the best spring fragrances have been discontinued, so that's fun. Also, Ralph Lauren Purple Label and Bleecker Street from Bond No. 9. Those both smell quite similar. Very, very good choices as well. Torino 21 from Xerjoff, another great choice. And a bunch of Manceras kind of scattered throughout there. So those were some other ones that got a good amount of votes, but these are the ones we're rolling with here today. I want to thank you guys for hanging with me. If you want to be in a future video, check out the community tab. There's always a question up there. You can leave your answer or upvote other people's. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.